Most people completely misunderstand what it actually takes to register a company in Japan, and because of that misunderstanding, they end up either choosing the wrong business structure, underestimating the legal requirements, or giving up entirely before they even start. And if you are watching this, there is a high chance you are either thinking about expanding your business internationally, launching a startup in Asia, or trying to understand whether a so-called Japan LLC even exists in the way people describe it online. But here's the surprising truth that most beginners don't realize at the beginning. There is no exact LLC structure in Japan like there is in the United States. And that single detail changes everything about how you should approach this process. Because what people casually call a Japan LLC usually refers to a legal structure known as a Goto Kaisha, which operates under a completely different legal framework, with different expectations, responsibilities, and long-term implications. And if you misunderstand that early, you can easily make decisions that affect your taxes, your ownership structure, and even your ability to open a bank account later. But before we dive into the technical steps, let's ground this in a real-world story so you can actually feel what this process is like. Because registering a company in Japan is not just paperwork. It is a transformation of your entire business identity. Now imagine someone like Michael. Michael is a 36-year-old software engineer from California. He built a small AI productivity tool that unexpectedly gained traction with users in Asia, especially in Tokyo-based tech startups. At first, Michael thinks it will be simple. He assumes he can just register a basic Japan LLC, open a bank account, and start invoicing clients. But the moment he starts researching, he realizes something uncomfortable. Nothing about the process is simple. And everything he thought he understood starts to fall apart. But here is where things get interesting. Michael is not alone. Every year, foreign entrepreneurs try to enter Japan with the same assumptions, and most of them hit the same wall. Confusion, legal complexity, and unexpected administrative requirements they never planned for. So let's slow everything down and walk through this step by step, as if you are going through it yourself. Because once you understand how the system actually works, everything becomes much more predictable. First, you need to understand the two main company structures in Japan. The first is called a Kabushiki Kaisha, often abbreviated as Shikei. The second is the Goto Kaisha, or GK. And this is where most people get confused, because they assume one of these is a direct equivalent of an American LLC. But the reality is more nuanced. The GK is the closest equivalent to an LLC in terms of flexibility, lower setup cost, and simplified management structure. The KK, on the other hand, is more formal, more prestigious, and often preferred by larger companies and investors. Now, here is where Sarah enters the story. Sarah is a digital marketing consultant from New York. She wants to expand into Japan because she landed a contract with a growing e-commerce brand in Osaka. She searches online and keeps seeing conflicting advice. Some people tell her to register a KK for credibility. Others say GK is faster and cheaper. And this is where the first real decision point appears. But here's the problem. There is no universally correct answer. The right structure depends entirely on your goals. And that's where most beginners go wrong. They choose based on advice instead of strategy. So let's break this down in a practical way. The GK structure is usually chosen by solo founders, freelancers, and small teams who want flexibility and lower setup complexity. The JK structure is often chosen by startups that want to raise investment, build credibility with Japanese corporations, or scale aggressively within the local market. And this distinction matters more than people realize. Because in Japan, structure is not just administrative. It is psychological. It influences how banks, partners, and clients perceive your business. Now let's go back to Michael. He decides to proceed with a GK because he wants speed and simplicity. But the moment he makes that decision, a new challenge appears. He realizes he needs a registered address in Japan. And this is where things get real. Because you cannot simply register a company without a physical or legally recognized address inside the country. So Michael now has to decide whether to use a virtual office, a co-working space, or a local partner's address. And this is where many entrepreneurs pause for the first time. Because they realize they are not just starting a business. They are building a legal presence in a foreign country. But here is where it gets even more interesting. Once the address is settled, the next step is preparing the articles of incorporation. This is the legal document that defines your company's structure, ownership, and operational rules. And unlike casual online business setups, this document in Japan is formal, structured, and often requires careful drafting. In many cases, it also needs notarization. And now Sarah runs into her first real obstacle: the language barrier. Because even though some services offer English support, many official processes still require Japanese documentation or translation support. And this is where most foreign founders either slow down or seek professional help. But here's the insight most people miss. This complexity is not accidental. It exists because Japan has one of the most structured and detail-oriented corporate systems in the world, designed to ensure legal clarity and business accountability. And once you understand that, the process starts to make sense instead of feeling frustrating. So Michael moves forward. He prepares his documents, defines his ownership structure, and submits his incorporation application. And now comes a moment that feels like progress. His company is officially registered. But here is where the illusion breaks. Because registration is not the finish line. It is the starting line. And what happens next is what determines whether your business actually functions or remains stuck on paper. Because after incorporation, you still need tax registration. You still need social insurance registration if you hire employees. And you still need to set up banking. And this is where things can get unexpectedly difficult. Because opening a corporate bank account in Japan is not automatic. Banks perform strict due diligence. They want to see a clear business model, proof of operations, and often a local presence. Now Daniel enters the story. Daniel is a freelance developer from Texas, who also tries to register a company in Japan at the same time as Michael. But unlike Michael, Daniel rushes the process. He registers quickly, but does not prepare his banking documentation properly. And when he applies for a corporate account, he gets rejected. Not once, but twice. And this is the moment he realizes something critical. In Japan, compliance and preparation matter just as much as incorporation itself. But here's the turning point. Michael, on the other hand, takes a slower, more structured approach. He prepares his business plan, organizes financial projections, and ensures his documentation aligns with his company purpose. And when he applies for banking, his approval process goes smoothly. And this is where the real lesson emerges. Success is not about registration speed. It is about preparation depth. But let's go deeper, because there is another layer most people never consider. Taxes. In Japan, corporate tax obligations depend on revenue, structure, and operational classification. And while the system is transparent, it requires consistent reporting. This includes annual filings, consumption tax considerations, and proper bookkeeping. And this is where many new entrepreneurs either hire accountants or partner with local professionals. Because trying to manage this alone can quickly become overwhelming. But here is the surprising advantage. Once properly structured, a Japanese company is extremely stable, credible, and respected internationally. This is especially true in industries like technology, manufacturing, and consulting. And that credibility opens doors that informal business setups simply cannot. Now, let's pause for a moment and zoom out. Because what is actually happening here is bigger than paperwork. You are not just registering a company. You are entering one of the most structured economies in the world. And that structure, while complex at first, is what creates long-term stability. So let's return to Sarah. After completing her registration and setup, she starts working with her Japanese client. At first, everything feels slow. Communication is formal. Processes take time. But gradually, she notices something important. Deals become more secure. Payments become more reliable. And partnerships become more serious. Because in Japan, formal structure builds trust. And trust drives business. And that is something many entrepreneurs do not expect when they first enter the market. But here is the final insight that ties everything together. Registering a company in Japan is not just about legal formation. It is about entering a system that values structure, precision, and long-term reliability. And once you align with that system, you stop seeing it as a barrier and start seeing it as a framework for sustainable growth. So if you are planning to register a company in Japan, you now understand the real process. There is no simple LLC shortcut. There is a structured journey involving choosing between GK and KK, securing a registered address, preparing legal documents, completing tax registration, and setting up banking with proper documentation. But you also now understand something even more important. This process is not designed to discourage you. It is designed to ensure that businesses entering the market are stable, credible, and prepared for long-term operations. And once you understand that, everything becomes easier to navigate. Because clarity removes fear. And structure creates opportunity. So whether you are like Michael building a tech startup, or like Sarah expanding a consulting business, the key is not rushing the process. It is understanding it deeply before you begin. Because in a system like this, knowledge is not just power. It is access. And if you found this guide helpful and want more in-depth breakdowns of global company formation, international business structures, and real-world entrepreneurship strategies explained in a simple and practical way, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Because the more you understand how these systems work, the more confidently you can move through them. And in global business, confidence comes from clarity.